Welcome to the weekend. We'll have a rerun today, and I'll add a quote. So grab your favorite cuppa, settle in, and let's see what we have. Welcome back. And what a day we have today. A word, of course, some law and order, a composer, a free-thinking, somewhat renegade astronomer, a concert, and a quote. So grab your favorite cuppa, settle back, and let's have a look. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for March 21st. March 21st is the 80th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 81st in leap years, with 385 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is kith. Kith is a noun that means familiar friends, neighbors, or relatives. The word kith is often used in the phrase kith and kin, with kin being actual relatives, so the phrase comes to mean friends and relatives. The ancient meaning of kith had to do with things with which one was very familiar. The word kith comes to us from Middle English, Old English before that. First known use of the word kith is before the 1100s. Kith. And with that, on March 21st, 1804, French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte enacted a new legal framework for France, as well as the rest of the empire, known as the Napoleonic Code. The Napoleonic Code was drawn from Justinian's codification of Roman law and modified into 4 sections, ruling persons, property, acquisition of property, and civil procedure. Civil procedure was moved to its own separate code a couple years later. I definitely appreciate that they recognized the importance of a clearly written and accessible law. No secret laws were to be passed or enacted under Napoleonic Code. This is the birthday of Russian pianist and composer Modest Mussorgsky, born March 21st, 1839. He reworked some compositions of other composers, but he also wrote some great pieces of his own. He lived to the age of 42. This is the birthday of American-German astronomer and critic Halton Arp, born March 21st, 1927. He compiled an atlas of peculiar galaxies, which catalogs examples of interacting and merging galaxies and other kinds of galaxies that don't quite fit the rules of ordinary astronomy. Halton Arp was a critic of the Big Bang Theory, which definitely put him out of favor with the Big Bang Theory establishment. Interesting guy, Halton Arp. He passed away in 2013 at the age of 86. This being Modest Mussorgsky's birthday, let's talk about his piano suite, Pictures at an Exhibition, composed in 1874 and inspired by the Russian architect and painter Victor Hartmann. And we're talking about more of a concert here, or a whole album rather than a single song, and I do have links to several versions for you. We have an actual piano performance by Russian pianist Yevgeny Kissin. We have an orchestral version by the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra conducted by Herbert von Karajan, and a version by English progressive rock band Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I think it's worth mentioning that Emerson, Lake and Palmer, being a progressive rock band, may have introduced classical or classically inspired pieces to a generation of rock and rollers who might have missed that boat otherwise. ELP's album of Pictures at an Exhibition came out in 1971 and did well, making it into the top 10 for albums. Having listened to all the versions that I've linked for you, I'd say Emerson, Lake and Palmer represented the piece pretty well. Pictures at an Exhibition, composed by Modest Mussorgsky in 1874, links in the description. I noticed something in today's material. Modest Mussorgsky was known for reworking compositions of other composers, but also composed some great works of his own. Similarly, Keith Emerson of Emerson, Lake and Palmer is known for combining his own original compositions with classical or traditional pieces adapted into a rock format. Just a little something I noticed in today's research. Today's quote is from the late, great Steve Jobs, who said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life." Steve Jobs. Alrighty, y'all take care. Be good to each other. I'll see you next time. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That playlist lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page. It's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.